This is my beautiful wife Agnes. Now she doesn't normally feature on this channel due to her preferring not to be in front of the camera, but since this channel is dedicated to my little tribe's outdoor adventures, and if I'm the head of the tribe then she is the heart, I thought it was due time to make a video featuring her. Now my wife was homegrown in the tropical villages of Uganda, Africa, right near the second biggest freshwater lake in the world, Lake Victoria. As a result of the general geography she found herself in, fish was a stable part of her diet. And my wife loves freshly caught and cooked fish. It was something we would regularly eat while we lived in Uganda since we lived on the lake and were friends with a lot of the fishermen, and tilapia and perch were on the menu. Since moving back to Australia, fish hasn't been a huge part of our diet here like it was in Uganda, but since taking my children out into these wild places, I have really gotten into the fishing side of things, resulting in my children and I eating our fair share of delicious fish. This has resulted in my wife being a little bit jealous every time we come home and share our fishing stories. Because she is a big fan of fish, it always reminds her of home. And the idea of going out and providing fish for my family is rather appealing, as it should be for a good hunter-gatherer husband. Now I could just buy the fish from the shops, but where's the fun in that? So I decided I wanted to treat my wife and the kids to a feast, and decided to head down to the coastline for some exploring and a bit of spearfishing. G'day everyone, I'm here on the coast and I am going to go for a spearfish and catch some fish for the family. Now, I'm here at the same spot where I did that 24-hour challenge. That was about a month ago, just because it's a cracker spot. And basically today, I've chosen today because it's flat, like the ocean is flat. There is no swell at all. And the wind is beautiful, it's like beautiful conditions. So I'm stoked, I'm excited. And I've brought the whole kit and caboodle with me today, so I do have a rod because I'll probably chuck the line in the water with a little soft plastic lure. I've got my spear gun and I've got a backup, I've got a Hawaiian sling as well, so I am determined to get a fish. Alright, I'm going to get ready and get in that water because it's stunning. And I will be going all through this little area here, up around. If I can't get anything, I will go on the outside and on the other side there and see what I can get. Now when it comes to spearfishing, I've always just mucked around with a Hawaiian sling, but over the last year I've just gotten a little bit more into it, but I really need to get some proper gear because I mean I'm just wearing a surfing weddy. I use my bodyboard fins, I don't use any weights or anything like that, but the more I'm doing this, the more I'm thinking I just want to get some better gear. And so yeah, I'm still very much a beginner at this and I'm just learning, but yeah, as I get more into it I'll probably progress a little bit more. And in regards to what I'm aiming for, look, I've been here before and I would like to get a few sweep because they're good tasting fish, or a morwong. Look, if I can't get that, there's always ludrick. I could probably go for that. We'll see what I can get, you never know, there might be some salmon in there or leather jackets, but let's see what I can get. So first up, near the start of my dive, I spot a legal sized magpie morwong just cruising around. Since I haven't really startled him yet, I line up for the perfect shot, and rookie mistake, the safety was still on. So by the time I got my breath back and went down there, our magpie morwong was well and truly spooked and not letting me get a good shot at him. And yes, yet again, I went in for another shot at him, and the safety was on again. Like I said, I've been in the water many times, but usually with the Hawaiian sling. I'm relatively new to the spear gun fishing and it takes some getting used to. I'm a bit of a noob, a rookie, a novice, a man in his mid-30s upgrading to a new skill. So by all means, seasoned spearos, let loose at me in the comments. I can take your criticisms and I welcome your advice. And then, after finally getting a clean shot at him and having the Morwong at the end of my spear, the flopper didn't work right to catch him and he managed to slide off the spear in his wriggle. This greatly frustrates me, not just because I missed out on a fish, but I feel it's a waste and I feel pretty disappointed at that. I tried to recover him, but he had swam off, most likely to die under a rock from his injuries. It had already been an hour out in the water and I was taking my time because I really wanted clean shots to minimise the chance of injuring a fish for no reason. But after some time I spotted a leather jacket, a personal favourite of mine. First fish of the day. Not a huge meal, but a good tasting fish in my opinion for their size. Well, so far, just one leather jacket. Small one, still legal. But I got a magpie Morwong, but he got off. I was very disappointed about that. But plenty of fish in there. I'm going to go back and keep trying. I just need a bit of a break and some water. Cut my thumb as well. That's bleeding pretty bad, so I might go patch that up and then see what I can do. Let's get back in there. The Alton Goods bag works really well just to keep the fish fresh. I might just throw him in there and do that up. At this point, I started to notice I really was pushing my body to the limit. Constantly holding my breath and diving down, I noticed a slight nausea coming over me, but I was still determined to get some more fish. Unfortunately, the battery on my GoPro ran out, but I did come back to shore with something quite decent. Next up, a good sized sweep. There we go, I'm happy with that. So one leather jacket, one sweep, but I'm getting really exhausted. Just diving under, constantly holding my breath. It is getting exhausting. I might just have a break, have a bit of water, recuperate, and then go back in and see what else I can get, because I really wanted to get a few more fish. And there I was, diving down into the deep again and again, each time pushing my body a little bit more, knowing in the back of my mind I should be taking it easy, but my stubbornness to get more fish pushing me to go further. I was well aware that doing this solo without a partner had its fair dangers, but this is no way near my first time in the ocean by myself though. I'm very comfortable in the deep blue after a lifetime of many activities in it, but it was like a delicate dance of pros and cons, benefits and risks. But so far, it was paying off. Okay. Nice sized salmon. School of salmon came past, so whew, alright. I might get one more fish and then call it a day, because I got a sweep, I got a leather jacket and I got a salmon. I'm happy with all that. Now I was close to the edge of where risk outweighs benefit, and after another dive, the constant withholding of essential oxygen to my body, I felt the sickly feeling of dizziness starting to kick in, and the lightheadedness that can come before a blackout. Realising what I was doing to myself, I switched the safety on my spear gun and headed for shore. Now this is where it gets nasty, and if you're grossed out easily, maybe skip ahead. See, I'd been using my willpower to overcome my body, but now my body had a message to me, basically screaming out, "No more, what are you doing to yourself, Luke? Look here, I'm going to make you chuck up your breakfast just to teach you a lesson about all this punishment you're dishing out on me." Alright, you don't need to hear any more of that, but you get the point. Lesson learned. What is the point of providing for my family if I end up drowning myself? I needed to take this into account. What are my limits? Should I be doing this solo? I'm not as young as I used to be. It was a bit of a slap in the face, but thankfully I felt a bit better after a chunder. And on my way back to my gear, I noticed a good sized sweep swimming around. And well, I couldn't give up my chance now, could I? One more sweep, and that's dinner. One salmon, a leather jacket, and 3 of these the ocean has provided. Well, I'm happy with that. That is a good haul. That is plenty to feed my family. So I'm going to head back and put these fish on ice. So there I was, with a good amount of fish. I knew this was something that my family were going to be excited over. I knew my wife was going to enjoy eating this fish. So it was time to take this little haul of seafood back home and present it to my wife for a cook-up.
You'll get one.
How does it look? Wow, those are big.
Delicious. This one's mine.
How are you planning to cook all these fish?
So I'm planning to cook this fish in like 2 different ways. Some of them in the foil, and I'll put in the oven and I'll bake them.
Real dead.
So there you go. It's the little things in life that can bring you joy. You don't need a ton of money, just a fishing rod or a spear gun, and maybe an oven and an air fryer in my case here. And as they say, happy wife, happy life. And in all seriousness, I'm stoked my wife will get a little taste of home for a brief moment in time, being transported back to memories of her homeland in Uganda, cooking up and eating freshly caught fish. And boy, does she and the kids know how to clean up a fish.